Hmm.
Hi, this is Steffi again, the founder of She Can and our She Can channel. And we are interviewing women from all walks of life from all over the world. And we're so excited to talk to Laila Aiken Ali today. Laila, tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, I always like to start off by telling everyone that I'm a Pakistani. And I use that term affectionately because I coined it to represent this unique blend of Pakistani and Italian heritage that I have. And so it really reflects kind of that, that deep intrigue into the intricate ways humans connect with one another and themselves. Like, who would have thought, an Italian and a Pakistani met and co-created, back in the day, especially, right? So I think that that's a main part of who I am. But also I'm pretty much described as an extrovert. But I also long to be a bit of an introvert. So I'm one of those type of people that, I do need my downtime as anybody else, but I love connecting with people. I love talking. I love hearing stories, telling stories. So, this is why this opportunity is so amazing because you learn so much through stories. And I think on a personal level, I wear many hats. I'm a devoted mother, a loving daughter, a caring sister, and a second time wife. And that kind of will lead into where I am now today. Uh, so professionally, I've been a serial entrepreneur for many years. I think out of college, I've always created opportunities when I saw them and or saw the need for something and created that opportunity there. And currently, I am the co-founder of a platform, a tech platform that helps people through divorce and separation. So really, it's, my whole journey in life has got me here. But before any of this stuff, and it's really important to know that it was really through like a painful experience that led me to do this work that I do now. And, I took that pain and made it into a passion to help others. It was a really tough period. And I don't know if you want me to go into that story itself because it really paints the picture of where I am today.
Yes, please, Laila. I think it's really important that we mention you set up a platform called Split.fyi. You're a
Uh-huh.
coach and separation coach. You're a mediator. You do really important work helping
Mhm.
families um, transition into a new phase, which doesn't mean that it's the death of a family, right? So I love that
Absolutely.
says on your website. So tell us a little bit more how you started to do what you do now, learning from personal experience.
Exactly. I mean, I was, in short, I was sideswiped by divorce. I was 6 months pregnant. I was running a company at the time. I had my own jewelry brand and I was distributing around the world. So it was very an intense, working a lot, as we all know, when you're running a company. And I just found myself, in the middle of my living room, like thinking that the world was just closing in on me. Like what am I going to do? I'm going to be a mom. I'm going through a divorce. Everything that I thought was going to be just wasn't anymore, right? Like the family that we were going to build, the life that we were going to have, and it was the death of that. And I was dealing with that simultaneously with this, as we all have, if you're, a pregnant lady, the fear of the unknown of having a child, right? So and the health of the child and so forth. There were so many things going around in my mind. Um, and I would think that, there's pros and cons to every situation. Timing is never right to anything, right? But I will take the fact that because I was pregnant with a life force inside of me, that gave me so much strength, right? To to really shift faster than I probably would have, right? Into this place of, all right, I've got to not just do this for me, but I've got to do this for my baby. That's it. I know I've got to bring it together and I've got to figure out how to navigate this system. Now, I went through this 14 years ago. Okay. My daughter's 14 now. And I will say back then, now things have changed a little bit, but back then there was really nowhere to go, right? Nowhere to figure out, gather information, connect with other people. Plus, I was young. So everybody was at the time either getting married or having children. So, and here I am getting a divorce. So, a divorce. So, it was very hard to call on people, or people couldn't understand, the ones around me. My family, of course, were there for me, but again, they were so invested emotionally as well, right? So I found it really difficult to navigate that because I felt very lonely in that experience. Anyway, the short of it is I went through this divorce. It was unfortunately not super amicable. And during the process, I remember I was so upset that I had to rely so heavily on my legal counsel, so that I went and I signed up for Regency College in London and became a mediator. And the reason why I became a mediator really was to help me navigate through the system and not have to rely on my lawyer, right? Now, it wasn't really with the intent of using it professionally or using some version of it, but it became that, fast forward about 3 or 4 years, I was the go-to person amongst my peers, about everyone. Oh, so and so is getting divorced. Can you help them? So and so is going through this. Can you help them? I'm going through a divorce. What do I do? It was all of a sudden, by virtue of me having gone through something like that, I became that person that people went for to gather information, to get support, to just have a listening ear, right? So it felt good. It felt good to help people. I was like, oh, I get this. I needed somebody like me when I was going through it in the thick of it, right? So I sort of had this idea of, like, what is missing is that connection that people have a lack of. They have their friends, they have their family, but they really need to connect with other people who are going through it or have gone through it, who can gather like some insights or help or support through their own right endeavor. So I always thought it would be great to build a community, and not only just build a community, but have an educational piece with it, right? And be able to go somewhere that you can gather information and prepare and be smart about where you're going to go, what lawyers you're going to use, how do you interview a lawyer, how do you even find one, all these things that people are just, what do I do? So that was the birth of Split.fyi. And all the while I was coaching people through divorce and separation, and I still do. I call myself the split coach. And by virtue of that, it's funny because I'm not just helping people through divorce and separation, but I'm helping people even through relationships, because a lot of people who are in their relationship and in that stage of should I stay, should I go, are very confused and scared. And do I want to go? And, let's navigate through that. And is it worth it? Is it worth going through it, or is it worth fighting for? And those are the things, or working on it, the relationship. So.
Yeah, it's so inspiring, Laila. What do you think is your main motivator now with all of this hindsight, all of this learning, all of this experience, and helping people through these transformative phases?
Well, first of all, I have this profound appreciation for life's gifts, okay, and how they show up in your life, that they could look like an ugly gift. It could look like something that's pretty ugly. And I always say that I have this, my motivation is for people to see their incredible like potential, and the fact that what they have in front of them is not always as bad as it seems, right? Gratitude, I think that is a big motivation. I know that it's talked a lot about amongst, in social media, and amongst a lot of the spiritual gurus. They always talk about this. And what is that? Like, gratitude looks like so many different things. It's so hard to stay in it when you are going through such a heavy transition in life, right? Or you're losing something, or you're losing someone, or you're angry and you're frustrated, or you've been hurt. Those are really hard things to tap into is that gratitude and appreciation when you're going through something like that. But it's my motivation is to help people really see the things that they do have and see that there is so much to be grateful for. And so when you stay in that, you actually, it outweighs a lot of that other stuff that's happening, right? It kind of rewires the way that you're looking at things. Yeah, I think that that's the capacity to reshape how we view our lives and how we are telling ourselves, or the story we're telling ourselves. I think that motivates me, is to like help people and help even myself. I have to remind myself all the time, right? It's not like get given, I can, something, can happen to me in a day that is really disturbing. And I'd say I can choose to keep looking at it that way, or be curious and say, all right, let's see, what is there something else that is going to come out of this? Like, where is this taking me? Right. So,
Yeah, Laila, so what do you think you bring to the table? What do you have? What quality do you have that makes you so good at what you do?
I I have, and I'm going to say this, I think that I have a very, I connect with my intuition. Okay. And I know a lot of, everybody can, by the way. So everybody can. And I think that I truly, I grasp someone's deep level of like needs, and in a deep way, right? And why? Because I do tap into my intuition. And that is something that I probably never had done before I went through what I went through. And I think that that shift and going through something like that really, it jolted me into looking at the world in a different way. It's not looking at it as a constructual way, like, oh, we get married, we have kids, we do this, we go and get a job, we apply for that. It's not about these steps that we do in life, right? It's really about the connection that we have with every step that we do. The people, the connection with the people, the connection with the ground, the connection with, our life and who we are and ourselves, right? The more connected we get with who we are and ourselves, the more connected we can be with other people, right? And so I think that's probably my greatest quality. If I were going to say one, I'm a great listener. I am a bit impulsive, which I can be a touch naive on all of that, but that's okay. I go for it. The impulse has got me to where I am today, crazy enough to start a company, found a company during COVID. Oh my God, that was a tough challenge. You know what I mean? But I think challenges also motivate me. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
think,
you said that so beautifully, Laila. And
thank you.
we're fellow COVID founders. Laila,
Yeah.
what are you most proud of on in your journey?
Oh, wow. I mean, I would have to say, and I guess that's such a mommy thing to say, but most proud of my relationship with my daughter. I mean, it's a beautiful, imperfect bond, I will say, right? Nothing is always perfect in a relationship with parent and child, but it's really founded on love and respect and guidance. She's continuously teaches me the art of becoming a better human. I mean, and I'm actually genuinely proud of myself, that I'm willing to learn, to grow, and through this connection, it's like I'm open. I don't know it all. We always say that we're the teachers or we're the mentors of our kids, for sure. There's to a certain degree, but they are also ours. So I would say I'm the most proud of that relationship. And I think in the professional journey, I'm pretty really proud of the community that we've already been nurturing through on Split.fyi, and all the countless amount of people that we've already been helping and supporting. I'm proud of that as well.
Yeah,
So
no, you can be a lot, Laila. Laila, so what
thank you.
top tips would you give to anyone listening that is really struggling through divorce or a separation and feels like their family is unglued or, just not safe or not just
Yeah.
in transformation?
I think that the top tip, all right, is to really celebrate the power and the strength and the beauty that resides within them, okay, regardless of external opinions or actions. It's recognizing your own truth. It's really that, so that you nurture it, you believe it, and you don't let anyone diminish your sense of self-worth. Because what happens in a relationship of any kind, we tend to lose ourself in it, right? And it's the ability to really figuring out what that self-worth is, your own strength, your own, thoughts, who you are, is profound and so important, because it can help you decide what you want to do, whether you're in the thick of it, whether you're thinking about it, whether you're just unhappy. Is that unhappiness coming from because it doesn't feel right, or but everybody else is saying that it's right? Listen to yourself, your own intuition, and recognize that you have that self-worth inside of you. And if it's been broken, mend it. So that's my, start the journey. I think that would be the biggest tip that I can
Thank you, Laila. I think that will be heard.
give.
Um,
Thank you.
Laila, so what are your plans, goals, dreams for your future? Split FYI, what's in the store for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think it's interesting, even though COVID forced a lot of us to be under the same roof and stay together and the family together. I would say that there has been, as an entrepreneur and as you can imagine, like when you're, dealing, you tend to not have time for so many people. And I think one of my biggest goals is to actually carve more quality time with my loved ones. And whether it's a phone call, even if it's just a phone call for 5 minutes, a check in, to have more established quality time with people, and more of a harmonious balance between, work and life would be another goal, I would say. And for Split FYI, I mean, we are growing, we are developing, we are developing into a product that really will help people eventually, support people through any split of any kind. There's a lot of people who are even coming to me who are splitting from their business partners or so forth. There's a lot of the same emotional turmoil that you go through in such a transition and a breaking of some kind of relationship, right? Of any kind of relationship. So, and beyond that, on a very fun level, I definitely dream of having a micro farm on the coastline of Italy, with tomatoes and the ocean in front of me.
I
that's
love
that's a
that.
that's a nice dream of mine that I hold very close to my heart.
Laila, thank you so much for talking to us today, and thank you all for listening. Please subscribe, comment, and share, and come
Yes,
forward if you want to tell your story.
yes, thank you.